Some of the nation's most elite, most powerful lawyers are right here in Las Vegas.
I don't care who you are. It is your responsibility and privilege to follow the law in this country.
Paul Pata, a former federal prosecutor and rated as one of the top 100 lawyers in the nation by his peers. Christian Morris has already proven her skills in and out of the courtroom.
You've heard from the other side. Now let me tell you the facts. Happy birthday, Mr. President. The New York Attorney General filed suit against the Donald J. Trump Nonprofit Foundation on his birthday, claiming alleged illegal conduct and, quote, unlawful political coordination, unquote, to benefit Trump's personal and business interests. President Trump blasted the action in a statement saying, quote, Schneiderman, who ran the Clinton campaign in New York, never had the guts to bring this ridiculous case, which lingered in their office for almost 2 years. Now, he resigned his office in disgrace, and his disciples have brought suit. Trump says he will not settle. Is this just politics as usual, or is Trump in legal jeopardy? Welcome to Vegas Lawyer. My name's Christian Morris. I'm a Las Vegas personal injury attorney. I'm here today with Aisha Mehdi.
Hello.
Aisha, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Healthcare attorney. I'm also here with Darren Heyman. Darren?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Darren is an international immigration attorney.
Yes.
So fancy.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking today about the issue of the Trump lawsuit, the lawsuit brought against Trump by the Attorney General in New York, and the issue of whether or not this really has some sort of legal jeopardy for Trump. Now, you know, when I first looked at this, I thought the president couldn't get sued, but the president is actually only immune from suit in federal court, not in state court where this has been brought.
Correct, and this is also not against him personally, it is against his foundation, right, which is its own separate legal entity.
But let's be honest, this is really against
Of
Trump,
course.
the Trump administration.
This is third world politicking at its best, right? When you don't like the person who's in charge, you go after his business interests, you go after his family, you go after absolutely anyone possible. And Barbara Underwood had already declared her war against Trump weeks prior to this, so this is hardly shocking.
But I mean, Schneiderman is the guy who really started it, correct?
Yeah, he started looking into it and didn't file suit because he knew there was nothing there, right? And so now Underwood, who is, we'll just say she's the Attorney General of New York, and who's called him a slew of names and has gone after all his other interests as a politician, is now going after him more personally.
But I mean, the suit's only for $2.8 million, right? I mean, is Donald Trump really in jeopardy based on that?
If the name on the building was not Donald Trump, she would have had nothing to do with this.
You think?
There are a lot larger suits out there. Perhaps she should look at a foundation, I believe the first name is Clinton. Then she might actually find something of actual significance.
So you think politics as usual?
Without question.
All right. Aisha, what do you think?
I think that attorneys should go after someone who's breaking the law. So if allegedly Trump's organization is breaking the law, then they should pursue it. So that's where I'm at. As a corporate attorney, I know a lot of people hide under organizations. So for me, it's very important to determine what the organization is doing. Granted, it's not personally, but yes, it's true, it is against Trump. If his organization acted illegally, then it should come out in the open.
But I mean, let's be honest, many times there are violations of campaign finance law. There are, when we hear of a nonprofit, of a foundation, we immediately think, okay, there's probably some cushioning going on. There's probably money passing hands left and right. How can this not be more than what it appears to be, is going after Donald Trump, going after the administration with an agenda behind it? That's what it appears to be to me.
Yeah, I hope that's not true. I would really like to believe that our AGs are very neutral, but it seems that's yes.
The New York AG, very, very neutral.
Right.
Yes, but I do feel like politicians need to be held accountable for their actions. So that's where I'm at.
Well, I mean, I wonder how far this is going to go, too. I mean, Trump says he won't settle, which, as we know as lawyers, if that means you won't settle, that means litigation's going to go forward. But it's protracted litigation, right? I mean, it's going to take years for there to kind of be any resolution to it. And by the time we get to any kind of resolution, I have a feeling that it's probably going to be a moot point.
Right, and I think you brought up a couple good points. First of all, I think this Underwood character, she just wants TV time, right? And she's going to lead the resistance against Trump. which is not exactly what her role as the New York Attorney General should be, but we've seen politicians and unfortunately lawyers do this time and time again. It was also interesting that you brought up the whole election finance issue, because I don't know if you recall, but Dinesh D'Souza was actually nailed by the previous administration for giving money to his friends in order to get around some election finance, and he was convicted of a felony. And about 2 weeks ago, Trump pardoned him, which he's allowed to do under Article 2, Section 2, as you know. And this exact same New York AG stated D'Souza's pardon was thwarting justice, which I found very interesting because last I heard the U.S. Constitution was the epitome of justice. But since it's not Underwood's justice, Trump is thwarting it, even though the Constitution gave him the power. This is the type of person that we're dealing with. She is not genuine. She just wants to do it in order to make a name for herself. And personally, I find it despicable.
Well, and you look, and Trump says it's basically Schneiderman's disciples who have brought this case forward. And Schneiderman himself has just so many problems leading to his resignation. It is laughable that these are the people who are, quote unquote, enforcing our laws, who are bringing people to justice. I mean, they could not be any more dirty themselves, and yet they are the ones who are enforcing it.
100%.
So we'll wait and see what happens with this. That's all the time we have for this segment. Thank you for joining us.
Newsflash, local attorney Paul Patter wins a $160 million verdict against a strip casino.
Paul Patter got me a $160 million verdict.
In a wreck, need a check? Don't settle for pennies on the dollar. At Paul Patter Law, we know how to win. We recently received one of the largest verdicts in Nevada history, $160 million. As I always say, don't get mad, get legal.
Paul Patter got me a $160 million verdict.